Hey y'all, so today we're going to talk about why your last fundraiser flopped. Let's get into it. Hey there, this is Tiffany with Boss on a Budget. I help new and small nonprofits get up and running. If you need help with your nonprofit, subscribe to my channel because I drop a video every week. Also, I offer a bunch of free and paid products, so check out the description box for links to that information as well. So let's get started. Let's talk about why your fundraisers are not working for your nonprofit. And just as a reminder, I specifically talk to new nonprofits, but this information is universal. So before I go into my 5 points that I have, I just want to make sure you understand that you have to always be evaluating your efforts. You can't just go out there, do fundraisers, not collect data on what worked, what didn't work, not collect that feedback from the people who participated, because you need to understand what strategies are effective and which ones aren't. Because if you don't do that, then you run the risk of maybe there was one piece that you didn't do exactly right in the fundraiser, but the overall plan or the strategy you had was good, but it was just one piece that needs to be tweaked. But if you're not paying enough attention to that, then you'll mistakenly think, oh, the whole thing was trash. I need to throw it all away and do something else. So I will say is that when you go into it, make sure you are evaluating your efforts. Make sure you're looking at data to see what works under what conditions. Always ask questions, be inquisitive about what's working. Ask the people who are the end users, so people who are your donors, ask them about their experience so you can evaluate and just keep getting better. So let's talk about the first reason why your fundraiser may not be working. Are you targeting your ask? Are you targeting the right people and asking the right people who would care about what you're doing? So you should have some kind of donor profile. So you should have information about who would best want to hear from us to help impact our cause or impact our target population. For example, if you serve elderly people and the work you do is all around adult caregiving, so middle-aged people and up who are caring for their elderly parents, and let's say you're doing a social media campaign and you're targeting specific people, are you targeting the right people? If you target people who are 35 and under, that's a topic they don't necessarily care about. It's not necessarily near and dear to their heart because they're not kind of in that age when you start thinking about, oh, our parents are getting up there, we got to start caring for them. That's kind of the furthest thing from their mind. Those people in that age range are probably thinking about school and their young kids and paying off student loans and getting established in their career. So it's just a different mindset and a different focus. So I wouldn't target those type of people. Another example is maybe you have like an after school program and you want people to donate. Well, maybe you should think about people who have kids themselves, right? Or people who have had the experience of an after school program, or people who are interested in mentoring, people who've done some kind of volunteering work with young people, maybe people who get why after school programs are important. And even to be more specific, maybe you're focused on STEM. So maybe there are people who are in STEM careers who believe in giving back because they know that women and people of color are underrepresented in those fields. So I would target those people. So the whole point of this is, and it's not just with an ad, it's with just in general. If you're going to reach out to people and ask if they're willing to give money, you need to make sure you're asking the right people. So make sure you think about what would make someone want to give to us. Are they connected to the cause in some way? Are they connected somehow to this target population? Are they connected and care about us in a way? Or it could be something as simple as, are they connected in our geographic area? There are a bunch of different reasons why people give. So it's your job to figure out who would be the ones most likely to give and what would be their motivations to give. So this is like a give and take. And again, this is another reason why you need to collect data and pay attention to what you're doing to see what populations your ask is resonating with. The other reason why your fundraisers may not be working is because you're using specific strategies that are either outdated or just not appropriate for your organization. So the worst thing you can do is look to another nonprofit and say, oh, they did it. It worked for them. So let's try it. Absolutely, you should look to other organizations for inspiration and for help designing fundraisers, but you have to tailor it to your organization. You have to ask yourself, do we have the resources to pull this off? Do we have the connections to pull this off? So some people mistakenly think, well, that nonprofit went and got all that money and had that kind of partnership without understanding who they knew, what work they put into building that partnership, what each partner or whatever happened in that arrangement, what each are getting on both sides. You know nothing about that. You just make an assumption that, oh, they saw a nonprofit, they decided to partner with them, so they'll partner with us. And you really don't know what happened on the back end to get to that point. So the worst thing you could do is just make assumptions that if a strategy works for another nonprofit, it should work for you. You should take it, but also apply it to your specific situation, especially if you are a new and small nonprofit. Some strategies that big nonprofits or established nonprofits are doing, I would say table that until you get your footing. So, for example, a lot of new nonprofits like to go head first into events. They think they need to be doing these dinners or these galas or these big expensive events that really cost a lot to put on. They cost a lot of manpower. It takes a lot of time to prepare for them. It's a lot of work. And you're trying to establish your organization in the beginning, but at the same time, you're also trying to run these events. And a lot of people find that they spend so much time and effort on these events and they really don't profit much. And what you'll learn as you get older and established that you don't pursue those kind of strategies unless there's something in it for you. You'll learn that it's not really about the ticket sales, it's about the sponsorships. It's about the money you get before people even come to the event. So the event is not even about like making money there. It's about the money you get before you get there. And it's also about getting in front of people. It's about building partnerships. It's about warming people up to your organization. So it has multiple purposes, but new nonprofits just automatically assume we need to have a gala, and they don't really maximize it, and it doesn't work for them. So as a new nonprofit, I would say stay away from events, but absolutely do individual donor asks. Absolutely go out in your community, create like a one-pager and start talking to businesses, start talking to social clubs, associations, groups of people who may be invested in your cause and introducing them to your organization. Absolutely, you should do a peer-to-peer fundraising strategy where you're getting people to organize on behalf of your organization. If you want help with that, I have a free worksheet in the description box below, just so you know. But use the strategies that make sense for the phase you're in. I'm very big on developmental phases. And as a new nonprofit, you're still getting your footing. So don't do things that aren't really for the phase you're in. So another reason why you may not be successful with your fundraisers, and this is specifically for people you're asking directly for money, is because you're not priming your donors or you're not warming them up. So in like the For Business talk, you'll hear people say you need to warm up your audiences. If it's a cold audience, it means they don't know you, they've never engaged with your organization, meaning they've never gone on your page, they've never talked to anybody, they've never experienced or seen anything from your organization. This is a brand new engagement. And when no one has ever heard of you, doesn't know anything about you, and the very first time that they encounter you, you're asking for money, you're much less likely to get something from them. And I want you to think about why. If someone that you did not know asked you for money, would you give it to them? It's just as simple as that. Like, would you give them money if you have no idea where they're from, what their background is, what they're going to, use the money for? They're not. But as people learn you, as people trust you, and they know that you do good work, they're way much likely, if after the fact, after they've gotten to know you, they then ask, they're way more likely to give to you. So one reason is that one reason you may be failing is because you need to set your expectations, right? You need to know that the first time you reach out to a person may not, and more than likely will not be the first time that they give, but after several contacts with you. And the contacts could be through an email, then also they come to an event, then also they see a post on Facebook or they see an ad on Instagram. All of those touch points count as engagement. And the number of times that they see you and begin to associate the things you do with your organization, that means you're warming them up. They're much more likely, if they're the right audience, if you've targeted them the right way, they're more than likely going to be willing to give to you after a certain amount of time. So think about what that progression should look like. Don't automatically assume that everyone should give the first time they meet you, but think about, okay, how can I make sure that I continue a conversation, or that I make sure that they continue to see me time after time after time. And this doesn't just have to be online. It could be also in person too. Maybe you are at community events. Maybe you're constantly doing presentations. Maybe you're in committee, on committees, on boards where people know you. Maybe you're participating in public hearings as a nonprofit. It's not just online. It's whenever someone sees you or engages with you, they need to learn more about you. And by priming them and warming them up to you, they're way more likely to give, and you're way more likely to be successful. Okay, so the fourth reason why your fundraiser may not be working is because you did not have a plan. So when you sought out to raise money, what was your goal for raising the money? Or if you had a goal, how did you assume, or how did you think you were going to get there? Did you have an idea of the number of donors? If you're doing like individual donation, like that kind of ask, did you have an idea of the number of donors that you wanted to get, or the gift amounts that it would take to get to your goal? Do you have a plan that lines up with where you're trying to go? So a lot of the reasons why new nonprofits especially fail in a lot of ways is because they don't plan well and they don't project where they're trying to go. They don't really have a goal for the work that they're doing. A lot of times they don't even have a budget. So when you don't have a budget, you have no idea how much you need to raise. So then you don't really set a goal for yourself about how much you want to raise. And a lot of that is really built on fear. I'm just going to be real with you, that you may not think that you can raise it. You may be questioning yourself. You may be doubting yourself, or it may be, well, I'm just trying to get what I can get. And I'm just going to tell you now, that's the wrong attitude to have. The attitude to have is, this is what we need, and it's the community's responsibility to stand up to help us get it, because this is a community who could benefit from this. We all benefit when this thing, or whatever you're doing, works well, right? When we get good outcomes. So we all should be invested in its success. So you have to not take the attitude where we don't really, if you want to give us the money, you can, but you have to be confident instead. Being confident means this is where we're trying to go, and these are the steps we believe it will take to get there. And being like declaring that, letting the world know, letting yourself know, because now you have a plan. Now you know what you're supposed to be doing, and that will greatly increase your success. So make sure you have a plan and have some kind of strategy to get to where you're trying to go. Okay, so the last reason I want to talk about is probably something most of you haven't paid attention to, but I think it's important, and it's a lack of a focus on retaining donors. So it's way more easy to get repeat donors than it is to get a first-time donor. So I just talked about priming an audience, and you have to probably have at least 5 to 7 touch points with someone before they're comfortable to give sometimes. And so imagine all the effort it takes, all the different ways you need to be communicating to get that person to give. But imagine someone who's already given to you, right? And so maybe they're on your email list. So you're just emailing your list every week, giving them updates, or maybe you're calling them and talking to them. And because they're already bought in, you already know that they're at least somewhat interested because they already gave. They are way much more likely to give again. So it could be that you're not paying attention to the people who are more likely to give, because after you got a gift, you either didn't say thank you, or you didn't follow up with them, you didn't keep in contact with them, you didn't get their contact information to continue a conversation, you didn't reach out to them and ask them why they wanted to give. All of those things could be factoring in, missed opportunities that you had with people who already gave. And so you're spending way more of your effort and your energy on people who haven't even given to you yet, on people who you're not even sure are going to give to you. And yes, you should pursue those opportunities, but you have a missed opportunity right in front of your face if you don't pursue those people who've already given to you. So pay attention to the people who've already given to you and also come up with strategies for how you can continue that giving relationship. All right, so I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to download my free fundraising sheet if you want to learn how to raise your first $10,000. I have like an easy strategy to use a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign that you can check out in the description box below. If you need any help from me, don't forget to visit me at www.bossonabudget.com, and I will see you in the next video.